And welcome back to the CBB Talk with your boy Will Dickinson, and we're here. It was Selection Sunday was yesterday, and the bracket is out, so let's talk about it. Sorry for being a little late in this episode. I was going to do it after the selection show, but I had dinner, and we were just doing a lot of family stuff, so I didn't really have time to do it last night. And then, my computer was really dead, and I forgot my charger at school, so I had to go get that. So yes, it's going to be releasing probably around 6:30. But go watch it. Tournament starts on Thursday. And this is not my official prediction video, but I will do one, and that will be on probably Wednesday, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see which one is. But today we'll get my overall thoughts on the bracket and each region. We've done now 40 episodes, our 41st episode here. Started on December 5th, and now we're here on March 13th talking about the bracket. So it's been a long journey. But that's what we come here for. It's the Crown National Champion, and Thursday and Friday are some of the best days in all sports. So let's go talk about it. Let's move on to the South region, where Alabama was the number 1 overall seed, which I had. I was 4 for 4 in my 1 seeds and 4 for 4 in my 2 seeds. And overall, I think I had 66 out of the 68 right. Did have a miss there, which sucks. I did have a Rutgers game over Nevada and Clemson over Pitt. I kind of thought Pitt was going to make it over Clemson, but the reason I had Clemson was just because they beat NC State 3 times and made it further, or they play better than Pitt. So I just thought Clemson over Pitt made sense, but Pitt ended up getting it from the ACC, and then Nevada over Rutgers was very surprising to most people. So, see in the South region, Alabama, number 1 overall seed, Brandon Miller, dominant performance in the SEC championship against Texas A&M. Javon Quinterly's coming back and playing like, he was his former self. And right now, Natives has a great squad, and this team right now is one of the favorites to win the national championship. I think they got a very good break in their bracket, and I think that they can get to the Elite Eight, probably the easiest out of all the other teams, all the other 1 seeds in this tournament. The 8-9 matchup was an amazing one there. It's the first game to tip off in the tournament at 12:15 on Thursday game. It's Maryland against West Virginia. This is an amazing game here. I'm not going to spoil my picks here, but I like West Virginia so far. They play better. Eric Stevenson's an amazing player. Watch out for him. Trey Mitchell, really good. Joe Toussaint, Iowa transfer. So this team is deep, plays really well. And Maryland, they play amazing at home, but sadly they're not home anymore. They're playing at a neutral site in Birmingham, Alabama. West Virginia will probably have more fans than Maryland. But this will be a really good game. Of course, the first one to tip off is always a fun one. Everyone will be watching this one. San Diego State, Charleston's a 5-12. I think Charleston's a trendy upset pick here. They shoot a lot of threes, but San Diego State is the best 3-point defense in the nation. So does Charleston play into their hand there? Yeah. That Charleston's definitely a trendy upset pick there. In the 5-12, everyone loves those 5-12 matchups, right? There's always at least one that wins a year. And we'll see if Charleston can be that team to make it to the second round. And another trendy upset pick is my Virginia Cavaliers, who laid an egg in the ACC championship game, going against Furman in that first round. Furman coming out. They've had a while off. I think they've now had over a week off going into this game. And I think this game is a lot of teams think that Furman, a lot of people think that Furman can beat a Virginia, which I'm not, totally sure if that is what I'm going to pick, right? But Virginia does play down their competition or up, right? I think they play. There's going to be a close game. I bet Virginia's going to be around a 6-7.5 point favor in this one. Because, they play a lot of low possession, so winning by a lot is going to be tough for Virginia to do. And I could see it being a 12 versus 13 in the second round, but I could also see being a 4 versus 5. I can see any combination of those 4 teams playing each other in the second round, and I want to be 2-shot, which is always fun. Creighton playing NC State. That's a good 6-11 matchup. Of course, the guards of NC State, Jarkel Jr. and Jaquavion Smith, will lead NC State, and Creighton had high expectations coming in here. They've had a lot of up and downs throughout the year, and Kalkbrenner versus DJ Burns would be a very interesting matchup. in this one. Baylor coming in struggling. Their defense hasn't been good. UCSB, has been in the tournament a couple times. I'm not sure if I'm feeling the upset vibes there, but definitely will be a good game. Missouri is a 7. I really like, and I need to learn more about this Utah State team. I know they have Funk, who's a good player. Coming out of the Mountain West, they got, I think the Mountain West get four teams in, I believe, and no, of course Utah State, they shoot a lot of threes. In Missouri, you have Kobe Brown and Demore Hodge. That's a great duo right there. So that's gonna be a really good 7 versus 10. Maybe not like the highest, maybe not the best 7 versus 10 or the biggest names or teams. We're really going there in Arizona. We'll see what the health of Kurt Kriisa, because right now, he has a shoulder thing battling, but they coming off a Pac-12 championship, which I expected, and they're playing really good basketball right now. And I think a lot of people are going to think it's a 1 versus 2 coming out of the region. I don't know how many of those there will be, but this is one that's definitely calling a 1 versus 2. Let's move on to this Midwest bracket where Houston got the number 2 overall seed, which I thought they were going to be the 3 after losing that game to Memphis. Of course, they didn't have Marcus Sasser, and I expect them to be back for the first round. If not, definitely the second round. They go against a Northern Kentucky team who's tough. The Norse there make it to the NCAA tournament. And that 8-9 game plays a lot into the hands of Auburn because it's in Birmingham, Alabama. That's a very interesting thing because Auburn, of course, located in Alabama. Iowa, not located in Alabama. They have to go play in Birmingham. It's going to be a big Alabama fan base there. And if Alabama can get out of that one, which would be a very tough game. When that game came out, I was like, damn, that's a boring ass game. I still believe it. I don't really like both those teams. I really wish that Auburn was playing FAU or a team like that instead of Iowa. But one of these teams has to go through the second round there. That'll be a very hard one to pick. That's really one that's like a 50-50 in my opinion. Miami pulls a tough Drake team. Tucker DeVries. He's an amazing player for Drake. Drake's playing with one of the best teams in basketball recently after winning the Missouri Valley. And Miami, won the ACC regular season. Got bounced by Duke in the tournament. But Isaiah Wong, Nigel Pack, Jordan Miller, it's a great trio right there. And I don't think it's going to be a popular 12 versus 5 pick. And I wouldn't be totally surprised if Drake won, but Miami's a team that I can see making the Elite Eight Sweet 16. Kent State was a team I was scared for Virginia to face, right? They beat Toledo in the MAC championship. And Indiana's a team that lost to Penn State. They're playing good. Of course, they have Trace Jackson Davis, one of the best in college basketball. We'll see if they can get Xavier Johnson back for this first round. And this is one where I don't think many people might think upset, but I'm kind of leaning upset right now. I'm not totally sure, but I think I gotta have 113 be a 4. Like you gotta have a 12 versus be a 5 at least. And I think Kent State's a team that could definitely pull off it. Iowa State, playing better basketball recent. They lost to Kansas, but they play Mississippi State or Pitt. And we'll get to this team later, Nevada, which we'll talk about Rutgers as well. But Iowa State is a team that I think can beat both these teams pretty easily. Mississippi State's a good team with Tolu Smith. He's a beast. Pitt had a great regular season, and they got blitzed by Duke in the ACC tournament, which kind of dropped them to be in that last 4M. But Jamarius Burton's a good player there. Jeff Cable leads into the tournament, which is huge. This will be I think Pitt will take it and play Iowa State. But I expect Iowa State. I don't really love either of those 11 seeds. I think they can get to the second round. Xavier ended up on the 3, which I believe I had him on the 4. I did have Xavier on the 4. They ended up being on the 3, which, yeah, makes sense. They're 3. They had a good regular season. But at some point, the committee isn't consistent, right? Xavier was a team that has not played great without Zach Freeman, but then they punish other teams that didn't play great without injuries, right? They accounted for Jalen Clark being out for UCLA, Ben Vanderplas being out for Virginia. So they did stuff like that, but they don't really counter in the fact that Zach Freeman hasn't been good, or has been out, and Xavier hasn't been good, and they gave him a 3. I thought they deserved a 4, if I'm being honest. It's not. I'm not. Really mad about. There's other seeds I'm way more pissed about. I would have had UConn as a 3 over Xavier, but that can go a long way because we see the region that UConn's in, which is very, very tough. But this is where I'm really want to garp over. It's a 7-10 matchup in the Midwest. It might be the best game of the whole first round, but it's something that I'm just pissed about. It's Texas A&M and Penn State. Both these teams I deserve to be way higher. I had Texas A&M as a 5 and Penn State as an 8. Maybe that's recency bias, but Texas A&M, the reason they're 7 is because their non-league strength of schedule is really bad. They will start 6-5. Right. But at one point, why does the committee, right? I understand you got to take in the whole resume, but when you see Texas A&M, if you sort data at barttorvik.com, since they lost, they were 6-5. Since that moment, they have played like a top 10 team in college basketball, and they are a 7 seed. They were second place in the SEC regular season and second place and runner-up in the SEC tournament. And they ended up on the 7 line below Kentucky. I can disagree with that completely. They deserve a higher seed, and so does Penn State. I know they've lost a lot of games this year, but we saw the way they played. They almost won the Big Ten championship. They closed out the regular season winning 2 in a row. They won 3 in the Big Ten tournament, and then almost beat Purdue, and they ended on 10 line. And then, of course, these two teams play each other. When watching the Big Ten tournament, I said, I guarantee I'll pick Penn State to win at least one game of the tournament because I thought there was no shot they were playing Texas A&M. So now I'm like, do I have to go with my guarantee or do I pick what team is probably the better one, Texas A&M? So we'll see. That's an amazing matchup. Jalen Pickett's playing really good. Wade Taylor's an amazing player. Henry Coleman's great. Marble's good. Lundy, Funk for Penn State. So really, that's going to be an amazing matchup. And then Texas on the 2 line. I heard some people liking Colgate. I think Rodney Terry's doing an amazing job. We saw what they did in the Big 12 tournament. Absolutely rolling Kansas in that championship game. I expect Timmy Allen to be back. This team's clicking right now. And this is an interesting region right here. I really think that you could see a high seed going in and get into the Sweet 16, but I think Houston and Texas could match up in a Texas matchup to get to Houston in the Final Four. So if we move on to this bottom half of the bracket, start in the West region, where Kansas is the 1 seed, got the 3 overall, and this is a tough bracket. There is so many good teams in the West region. So let's go down. Of course, Howard playing Kansas there. I think Howard's going to win. Obviously, I'm kidding. If Howard wins, go back to that clip and then don't cut anything because I'll be a genius. Arkansas, Illinois is a real tough one. I think some people are calling this a flip of coin. Terrence Shannon's an amazing player, great transfer for Illinois. But Anthony Black's back. Not Anthony Black. Nick Smith is back. Anthony Black is here, and Nick Smith is back. And they've been playing great as a duo. They got a big win earlier in the SEC tournament against Auburn, and now they're in the 8 line. This is gonna be a good game, though. Eric Musman, Brad Underwood, 2 coaches that get fired up. I think Arkansas will win it, but and then whoever wins that game is gonna give Kansas a tough game in the second round. Kansas has a really tough road if they want to get back to the Final Four and try to go back-to-back. Bill Self, I expect to be coaching there. He's got released from the hospital. Hope he's doing well. St. Mary's VCU, trendy upset pick VCU, which I hate going on the trendy upset picks, but man, this one looks too good to be true. VCU, really tough defensive team there. I watched them in that A-10 championship against Dayton. They turned teams over a lot, and then they just have a really consistent offense. And St. Mary's doesn't have a dominant big, which was given VCU trouble in the A-10 championship game against Holmes was it Duran Holmes versus Dayton. but I think they can get past St. Mary's in this one, but we'll see. UConn goes against Rick Pitino, which could happen more often than not in the coming weeks and next years. We'll see with Rick Pitino, but UConn has to go against Iona in Albany. So this is a game where there's going to be a lot of Iona fans and a lot of UConn fans. It's going to be a really good game there. UConn's a team I could see making a run in this bracket, man. Adama Sanogo is, man, just such a good player. And then Jordan Hawkins and Tristan Newton seem born for March. And I know Dan Hurley hasn't won a game in the NCAA tournament yet for UConn. Lost in the first round game, upset 2 years in a row. Last year they were in a similar spot, I believe, and lost to New Mexico State. But I think this year could be different, and UConn could go on a big run with a team that was, 1 point ranked, second in the nation. And I think they're undefeated as 4. TCU going against the winner of Arizona State and Nevada. TCU's another sleeper team. I know they won't have Eddie Lampkin, but they won a game. They won 2 games in the Big 12 tournament. Oh, no, they won a game in the Big 12 tournament over Kansas State. I think they're playing well. Chuck O'Ban's a great lengthy defender there. He played really good in the tournament. And, of course, they got the guy named Mike Miles. This guy can light you up anywhere on the court, and that's why TCU is a team that can make a deep run in the tournament. And Nevada making over Arizona over Rutgers is just blasphemy. Yes, Nevada has the computer numbers. But they lost 3 in a row going into the tournament, lost to San Jose State in the first round. I thought that was it for Nevada, man. Jared Lucas is a really good player, Oregon State transfer. But Rutgers, man, has beat Purdue. They almost beat Purdue again in the Big 12 tournament. They beat Purdue on the road. They beat Michigan to win their first round game. I thought that was good enough for Rutgers, man. I know they've struggled without Mag, which was apparently a reason why they got dropped off, which is just a crazy thing. And Nevada, man, they gave them Mountain West their team. Maybe they want to give a Big 10 more teams there. And I expect Arizona State to win this game. And Arizona State's in because they hit a half court shot to beat Arizona on the road, which is fair. But if that one shot misses, I'm guessing Arizona's out of this tournament. So both these teams, they were on the fringe. They ended up getting in the first 4, and I expect TC to beat both those teams. Gonzaga is a team that's under the radar this year. They weren't the best 3 seed, which I thought was surprising. I thought they were going to be the best 3 seed. Drew Timmy's back and better than ever, doing his signature spin move, just killing the competition there. One of the greatest Zags of all time, if not the greatest. In Grand Canyon, back to the tournament. I think they were in it 2 years ago. And that should be a good matchup. And the 7-10s one where it's just, I think a lot of these 7-10 matchups aren't amazing this year. Yeah, the 7-10s, besides Texas A&M Penn State, the 7-10s are kind of just And this one's a Northwestern Boise State one. These are both teams that I would have not picked to win a first-round game, but now that they're playing against each other, they are. And there's a lot of instances where I'm like, damn, why do these teams got to play against each other, or in a good or bad way, where it's like I want both those teams to make runs and now they play against each other, or the opposite, where I didn't think these teams are that good to get out of the first round and then they end up playing against each other. And this is kind of one where it's like that. Boo Boo is such a good player for Northwestern. This is only the second time in the tournament. And not Leon Rice's son on Boise State's an amazing player there also. So this should be a really good matchup. Boise State back in the tournament for the second straight year. Lost to Memphis last year. Can they get a win this year? We'll see. And UCLA, it's shorthanded. I expect to be Adembona be back. The tournament missed the Pac-12 championship game. Of course, no Jalen Clark in this one. And UNC Asheville's a team where people think they can make a run, and I can see why. Pempers were a great player in this one. Trayton Jones went off in that Big South championship. So this should be a really good game. And that's a team where if there was going to be a 15 seed to do it, I think it could be them, because UNC Asheville has a star player and UCLA is a little injured. I'm not going to expect it. I'm not going to expect it to happen or predict it, but if it was going to be 115 seed, I would expect it. I guess if you told me a 15 seed was going to win, I would think it would be UNC Asheville, but you never know in March. That's what makes it amazing. Sorry for a lot of pauses. It's just my mouth is my throat is a little hurt. So I'm trying to just get through this episode, man. Hopefully it's good by my bracket prediction. So I might be sipping water throughout this last region, just so I don't have to pause it as much. Purdue's the 1 seed in the East, at the last 1 seed, and win the Big Ten championship and the regular season. Purdue's a team though where I'm still not completely sold on them, right? They almost blew a 17-point lead to Penn State. They haven't been playing amazing. They played the Ohio State team that made it crazy around the Big Ten tournament, but and then you have they beat Ohio State, and then they barely beat Rutgers. So they haven't been playing amazing, even though they did win the Big Ten championship, and it was against Penn State, who doesn't really have a great match for Edey, and they almost blew a 17-point lead. And they're going to get this 8-9 matchup, which again, FAU as an 8-9 seed. Come on, committee. I know they don't have a good out of conference record, but why would any team want to play FAU out of conference? Right? They're a good team, and they're not going to play them on a neutral, so they're going to have to play them at home. And if you lose a game, you look bad. But if you win it, then this is another win against an FAU team. So not a lot of major programs want to schedule these really good mid majors because there's not a lot of upside to them. And these mid majors, I think you should go play these games, but a lot of them want to play on neutral court, so they have a good chance of winning. And you're not making a lot of money if you're having schools doing that. But that game should be amazing. Kendrick Davis is a great player. FAU only lost 3 games the whole year, so I expect this game to be maybe the best 8-9 matchup of them all. And the winner of this game is going to give a great shot at Purdue. FAU is underrated, guys. They got a 9 seed. I think they deserved a 7. I think I had them as an 8, but honestly, they probably deserved. I had FAU as 8, but I think they deserved the 7, if I'm being honest. And Memphis, I think they could have deserved a 7 too, but it ended up being an 8, which I'm not mad at. But they did win the American Conference Tournament over Houston. That team has a lot of firepower. Remember Kendrick Davis, one of the best players in college basketball. And this 5-12 got me mad because Duke deserved a 4. They've been dominant these last couple games. They could have had a road win against Virginia if they got a call their way. They beat Virginia in the championship. They beat Miami. They beat Pitt. They went through a roll in the ACC. They're playing amazing. They beat North Carolina twice. No, not great, but they did it. And of course they got some road losses there. But Duke is just playing so good right now. They're freshmen. Everyone stepped up for them. And then they get Oral Roberts as a 12. Like, come on. Why couldn't Oral Roberts be against someone else, man? Because I want Oral Roberts to make a run. Because I think they can, but they got Duke. And Duke is not good. Why can't Duke be the 4 and Tennessee be the 5? Oh, I would love that. But it's just not that way. And one of these teams is going to have to lose, which sucks. Cal Vano is a 6'7" guy who can stretch the floor. And Max A. Smith from the 2 years ago team that made the Sweet 16 back and better than ever. This 4-13 game is an interesting one where I smell an upset. I smell an upset there. Tennessee without Zakai Ziegler hasn't been amazing. And Louisiana, I watched them in that Sun Belt tournament game because I root for James Madison too, and they beat us in the semifinal there. They're a good team. They play really hard, and I think there's a chance Tennessee wins. I'm going to have to look more into this Louisiana team and see what their strengths and weaknesses are because I can't honestly remember too much about them, but I remember watching them just being super annoyed because I thought that they actually didn't play James Madison in the tournament because James Madison lost to South Alabama, but I watched the championship game there. Louisiana's a good team, right? And they weren't a favorite going into that tournament, but the Raging Cajuns can bring it. And Tennessee's going to have a challenge for them without Zakai Ziegler. And Santiago Vescovi, their leader, will see how he can perform. And the 6-11 matchup is one of the most anticipated for me. It's a Bryce Hopkins revenge game. Providence versus Kentucky. Providence's best player is a transfer from Kentucky. Going out, and he barely got any burn in Kentucky. Goes to Providence. Providence is one of the best players in the Big East. And we're going to see how he can perform against his former team. Kentucky, remember, was bounced out early last year in the first round to St. Peter's. And Providence, made the Sweet 16 last year. Can they do it again? They've been up and down this whole year, but I think they match up well with Kentucky. Ed Carswell can match Oscar Tshiebwe. They're not the same, but they have a lot of bias to throw at them. That's going to be a really hard one to predict. I see a lot of people picking Kentucky to go far, but I've seen some other people pick Providence. So this is one where it's been really split. It's gonna be a really, really good game. And then Kansas State is a 3. I think it's a lot of people don't know much about Kansas State. Jerome Tang's done an amazing job in his first year. And they have one of the best duos in the whole country in Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson. And guess what? They're both great scorers, good playmakers, and they're both could throw lobs to each other. And Keontae's had that great story coming from Florida, and he's out for just to show that he's a real great player and could have been an amazing NBA player, and he still can be. And this is your time to prove it when the lights are brightest in March Madness, where you're playing and spotlight's on. Michigan State USC is an interesting one here. USC has a great paint defense, one of the best in the whole nation. And they have a guy like Drew Peterson, and Boogie Ellis is the real guy who pushes the offense for them. They have good wins. They beat UCLA this year. And it was interesting that they got in, and then they got in as a 10, which was surprising to me. And then Michigan State has Tyson Walker. He's a mid-range killer. He hits so many big shots for them down the stretch, and when they need a bucket, they go to him. They've been way better since Malik Halls came back, and they have Sissoko, who is a good big, and then Joey Hauser, who, if they can win this game, he can get a revenge game against Marquette, since he's a transfer there. And Marquette, the two, coming off the Big East. Big East title. Marquette's playing one of the best teams in the whole nation. Tyler Kulik is just so good. He's stone cold guy. Prosper's amazing. Oso Aguado, hopefully pronounce that name right. And Cam Jones, a great scorer. So, Marquette was a team that I didn't expect to win the Big East tournament, and they came out and did it. And I can see this team making the national championship type level. A lot of people haven't gone to the Final Four, and honestly, if you told me a week ago, I've been like, I don't see it. But after what they did in the Big East tournament, winning on these neutral court games, I could see Providence making that run there. I'm not going to say that's my prediction, but I wouldn't call you crazy if it was. So yeah, the East is a region where it just has the player of the year, Zach Edey. It has Kendrick Davis, who made clear the best mid-major, FAU, Duke, or Robinson, the longest win streak. John Calipari in Kentucky, Keontae Johnson, the Big East champions. That is a great region there. And all these regions are great. There's going to be some amazing games. I'll give you my top 5 games real quick before we leave here. I'll say my top 5 games looking forward to will be Texas A&M versus Penn State. For sure will be one of them. Kentucky, Providence, Duke, Oral Roberts, Memphis, FAU. So 3 of my 5 are in the East region. And if I had to pick one more game to be my last one, I'm going to say Miami Drake, because that one, Tucker DeFreeze is such a good player, and Miami's the team I can see making a run, but that one should be a really good game. So those would be my top 5 games in the first round. I'm excited. Bracket prediction coming soon, so get ready for that, and get your brackets done. Do fun brackets, do silly brackets, fill out. I only do one really real bracket, and I do a lot of just mess around brackets, but one that I submit into all my groups there. So get your groups ready. Go win some money. Go do your thing in bracket groups. This is going to be so fun. Best time of the year. March Madness. It's actually here. Let's go.